Hi friends, it's Mrs. Morris. We have 3 journals this week. We have a lot to learn during this third 9 weeks, especially with STAR being so early this year. We have a lot to learn. So we have 3 journals to get you ready for the next few weeks talking about decimals. The first video that you're going to do is about place value. Oh, this is the wrong one. It's this one. We're going to talk about place value. We'll do adding and subtracting last. Okay, so you are going to need this paper that you can see on your screen now and this paper here. Okay, so what it says is when saying or reading a number with a decimal, say, we're going to put quotations because we're saying it, and. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 examples of that. This one says 20 and 54 hundredths. Okay, underneath that I'm going to write hundredths because it goes to the hundredths place with a TH. So it's not the 100s place, it's hundredths place. Okay, so we're going to write that in word form. The way we see it right now is standard form, and we need to write it in word form. So we're going to write 20 and 54 hundredths. On your paper, there should be no spelling mistakes because I've spelled it correctly for you here. On the next one, it says 6 and 7 tenths with a TH. So we're going to write the word and above our decimal. So I read this 6 and 7 tenths. So we're going to write that in word form. Again, this one here, when it's just numerals, that's standard form. We need to write it in word form. So this one says 6 and 7 tenths. I almost spelled tenths wrong. There we go. Okay. 6 and 7 tenths. Okay. There are multiple ways that we can show decimals. Money is the most common one. So if we're talking about cents, right, when we see money written and there's a whole number usually, unless you don't have dollars, right, that whole number represents dollars, then there's a dot, and that's a decimal, and then the numbers after are usually our cents, our change. So this first example is showing us 72 hundredths as coins. So our relationship here would be to say 72 cents if we're talking about these coins here. So I can see there are 7 dimes. Okay, 7 dimes. And so if I have 7 dimes, I have 70 cents, right? So this says 1/10 of 1/10 of 100 times 7 is 70 hundredths, right? It's the same as saying I have 70 cents. Then I have 2 pennies over here. Well, 2 pennies of a whole dollar is written like this, right? If I just have 2 pennies, I have 2 cents. And when I write that out, it looks like 2 hundredths. Sorry, there's a message on the phone. And when we add those up, we get our 72 cents. So if I have 70 cents here, right, and I have 2 cents here, gives me 72 cents, which I can also say 72 hundredths, but when we're talking about money, we don't read it that way. Okay, on our grid here, they have also modeled 72 hundredths again. So in the past, this flat has represented 100. When we're talking about decimals, it's going to represent one whole. Okay, which means each rod here represents 1/10, and each unit cube is now going to represent 100th, because it's getting smaller as we look at the pieces smaller and smaller. Okay, so here what they've done is they've shaded in 72 hundredths. So they've shaded in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths, right? 7 tenths, and then 2 hundredths to give us 72 hundredths. For the next one, they showed us with base 10 blocks, which is kind of similar to our grid, but we can break apart our base 10 blocks here. So like I said before, our flat now represents one whole, okay? So each rod here represents 1/10. So what they have done is they have illustrated for us 7 of these rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rods gives me the 7 tenths, and each of these unit cubes is worth 1/100th. 1/100th, and there's 2 of them. So I have 72 hundredths. Okay, the last one, they gave us sticks and dots. This should be very familiar from 2nd grade. We use sticks and dots a lot, sometimes in 3rd grade as well. Here, they're just representing the same thing. They're saying this is equivalent to 1/10, right? Just like over here, so you can make that connection there, okay? And if you count them up, they gave us 7 sticks and 2 dots to represent 72 hundredths. Okay? Then, when we compare these numbers here, I want you to look here. They have 4 tenths written here. 4 tenths is written here. Okay? And when we look at it over here, compare 4 tenths to 40 hundredths. Okay? This is 4 hundredths. Okay? It's actually 40 hundredths, not 4 hundredths, because it's the same as 4 tenths. So we would not call this 4 hundredths. We would call it 40 hundredths. They are equivalent to each other. So if you take a look here, if I used these base 10 blocks up here and I just had 4 tenths, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, but I counted each unit cube in there, I would have 40 of them. These numbers are equivalent to one another. They are equal to one another. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those 4 tenths and 40 hundredths, and we're going to compare them in our models here. So here, they want us to shade in 4 tenths. Well, remember, a whole rod, it represents 1/10. Well, I need 4 of those. So shade in 4 rods. I do not have the best marker for shading for this, but that's okay. I'm just going to do a little rough sketch. Does not need to be perfect. Okay. So this represents our 4 tenths. Each rod, each column represents 1/10, and I shaded 4 of them. So over here, I need to represent 40 hundredths. Okay, so it would take me a very long time, but what I would need to do is count out 40 of them, right? Well, look right here. I just counted out 10. I know how to count by tens. 1, 10, 20, 30, 40. Shade in those 40 hundredths. Okay. They're the same. They're equivalent to one another. They're equal. Okay, let's look at another model comparing these. Okay, it says shade each model to show each decimal. 4 tenths. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths, because the rod now represents 1/10. Okay. I really should get something nicer to shade this with, but we're mid-video, so I'm just going to keep going. We can pretend it's shaded all nice and beautifully. You can make yours look nicer than mine. Okay, just like we did on the grid, they want us to do that on the flat. See how it's 3D over here? And over here it's just the grid. Okay, but it's the same thing. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I know how to count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40. Like that. So are they equal? Yes. Y-E-S, yes. These numbers are equivalent to one another. They're equal. Okay? So what they put on here is add 0 to the hero. I always call it the phantom zeros. So if we have 4 tenths and 40 hundredths, to compare these numbers, we could add our phantom, right? You can't see it, but it's there. Or your 0 the hero. However you want to call that is fine. Whatever you want to call that. Okay. Take this page now. We're going to fill this out. Probably should have started with it first since it's the cover. It says place value for decimals. A decimal is a number number with 1 or more places to the right of a decimal point. Well, they gave you a nice little model here. Here's the decimal point. The right is this direction, right? And this one has 2 digits behind the decimal. Okay, you're going to need a glue stick now. Okay, take a paper like this and flip it this way. Ready? Boom. Get some glue on it. Ooh, my glue stick's about done. Okay, remember glue stick glue sticks to glue stick glue, not glue stick to paper. Take your other paper like this. Get some glue on it. Glue stick glue. Stick glue, stick glue. Okay. Line them up very carefully. Smear them together. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. If your paper is right side up and nice this way, and you flip this way, boom. Okay. When you've got it this way, this is going to be the inside. You're just going to fold it over like a book, like so, right? On the back, put your glue it into your notebook. This is going to help you with several activities that you have coming up. Bye.